Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Hari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद श्री श्री राधा माधव की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 87, the prayers of the personified Vedas, verse 30. Aparimita dhruvastanubrito yadi sarvagatas tarhi na sashetiti niyamo dhruvan etaratha ajani chayanmayam tad avimuchaya niyantra bhave samam manujanatam yad amatam matta dushtayah aparimita dhruvastanubhrito yadi sarvagatas tarhi na shashititi niyamo dhruva netraratha ajani chayanmayam tad avimuchya niyantra bhavet samam manujanatam yad amatam mata dushtataya aparimita dhruvastanubhrito yati sarvagatas tarhi na shashyatiti niyamo dhruva netraratha ajani chayanmayam tad avimuchya niyantra bhave samam manujanatam yad amatam mata dushtataya यन्त्र भवेत्. Mataji's. Word to word meaning: aparimitaha, countless; dhruvaha, permanent; tanubritaha, the embodied living entities; yadi, if; sarvagataha, omnipresent; tarhi, then; na, not; shashyata, sovereignty; iti, such; niyamaha, rule; dhruva, O unchanging one; na, not; itaratha, otherwise; ajani, was generated; cha, and; yat mayam, from whose substance; tat, from that; avimuchaya, not separating itself; niyantra, regulator; bhavet, must be; samam, equally present; anujanatam, of those who supposedly know; yat, which; amatam, misunderstood; mata, of what is known; dushtataya, because of the imperfection. Translation and purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada. Translation: if the countless living entities were all pervading and possessed forms that never changed, you could not possibly be their absolute ruler, O immutable one. But since they are your localized expansions, and their forms are subject to change, you do control them. Indeed, that which supplies the ingredients for the generation of something is necessarily its controller, because a product never exists apart from its ingredient cause. It is simply illusion for someone to think that he knows the Supreme Lord, who is equally present in each of his expansions, since whatever knowledge one gains by material means must be imperfect. Purport: because the conditioned soul cannot directly understand the Supreme, the Vedas commonly refer to that Supreme Truth in such impersonal terms as Brahman and Om Tat Sat. If an ordinary scholar presumes to know the confidential meaning of these symbolic references, he should be rejected as an impostor. In the words of Sri Kena Upanishad 2.1, Yadi manyase suvediti dhabram eva pinunam tvam vedha brahmano rupam yadasya tvam yad asya deveshu. If you think you know Brahman well, then your knowledge is very meager. If you think you can identify Brahman's form from among the demigods, indeed you know but little. And again, Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasaha avijnanatam vijnanatam vijnanatam avijnanatam. Whoever denies having any opinion of his own about the Supreme Truth is correct in his own opinion, whereas the one who has his own opinion about his Supreme does not know him. He is unknown to those who claim to know him and can only be known by those who do not claim to know him. Acharya Sridhar Swami gives the following explanation of this verse. Many philosophers have studied the mysteries of life from various perspectives and have formed widely differing theories. The Advaita Mayavadis, for example, propose that there is only one living being and one power of illusion, avidya, that covers him, producing the appearance of plurality. But this hypothesis leads to the absurd conclusion that when any one living being becomes liberated, everyone obtains liberation. If, on the other hand, there are many avidyas to cover the one living being, and each avidya will cover only some part of him, and we would have to talk about his becoming partly liberated at particular times, while his other parts remain in bondage. This is also obviously absurd. Thus, the plurality of living beings is an unavoidable conclusion. Furthermore, there are other theoreticians, namely the proponents of Nyaya and Vaisheshika, who claim that the jiva, soul, is infinite in size. If soul were infinitesimal, these scholars argue they would not pervade their own bodies. Whereas if they were of medium size, they would be divisible into parts and thus could not be eternal, at least according to the axioms of Nyaya, Vaisheshika metaphysics. But if the numerous eternal jivas, souls, are each infinitely large, how could they be covered by any power of bondage, whether belonging to Avidya or to the Supreme Lord Himself? According to this theory, there can be no illusion for the soul, no limitations from which to be liberated. The infinite souls must eternally remain as they are without change. This would mean that the souls would be all equal to God, since He would have no scope of controlling these all-pervading, unchanging rivals. The Vedic Shruti mantras, which affirm unequivocally the mastery of the Lord over the individual souls, cannot be validly contradicted. A true philosopher must accept the statements of Shruti as reliable authority on all matters they touch. Certainly, in numerous places in the Vedic literatures, contrast the Supreme Lord's perpetual, unchanging oneness with the ever-changing embodiments of living beings, caught up in the cycle of birth and death. Srila Sridhar Swami prays, Antaryata sarva lokasya gitaha, shutya yuktya chaivam eva avashyayaha. Ya sarva gya sarva shakti nirsimha, shimantam tam chetasa eva lambe. In my heart, I take shelter of Him who is glorified as the inner controller of all the worlds, and whom the Vedas ascertain in truth through logical reasoning. He is Narsimha, the omniscient and omnipotent Lord of the Goddess of Fortune. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Gauramne Gauratevase Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare So His Holiness Kadamkanan Swami Maharaj, when he was searching for the purpose of life, he used to write poems. And there's a statement from his poem like, I'm nothing but a stranger, always around. I'm nothing but a seeker for what I have never found. So, we are existing in this world, and if we look deeply, we are a stranger here in reality. And we are a seeker also. We are here in this temple right now practicing Krishna consciousness because we were a seeker and still are a seeker to know what to do and why to do. Because we are looking for things that make sense. Many people left their job because it didn't make sense. They are here, although working more than they were used to work outside, but it makes sense. That's why they are working. And it's making sense because it's for Krishna. So since birth, we are influenced by many things that happens around us. We are born and we are said, okay, this is your name, this is your surname. And everything is like pre-decided. And you have to do this. What you have to become? You have to become this doctor or lawyer or engineer. Okay, now you have to marry. It's important to get married. Now you have to have children. It's so many things that goes into us and takes space in our consciousness. And we identify with that. And such things which is filling our consciousness makes us difficult to understand what is reality. Who am I? What is the ultimate truth? So when we start inquiring, okay, who am I? First question, where to inquire then? There are so many, it's like a spiritual marketplace. There is meditation, focus on the light, very beautiful light. What is beautiful in light? But it's the whole aim that to focus on the light. Okay, now do this yoga, Kundalini yoga and that yoga, do your chakras and make it elevate, something like that. There's so many things which is there in the market. Even though we have Bhagavad Gita, if you search online Bhagavad Gita, you have like so many editions of Bhagavad Gita. Like so much confusion is there to how to know what is the thing which will help us to know the reality. So all these things which is mentioned like Kundalini yoga, meditation, or like doing piety and this and that, without a proper understanding, does not help us to understand who we are. So knowledge means to distinguish reality from illusion. That's the whole purpose. So when Maharaj was visiting India first time, he went to Banaras and he saw an incident that there was a man lying on the street and he was dead. And he was just lying there. So there was no cloth also above him that to cover him that he's dead now, like white cloth. So people were throwing stones over him. And not stones, like coins over him. Whoever was passing by, they were throwing coins over him. And Maharaj was observing like, what's happening? And within few hours, his whole body was covered with coins. So he inquired like, what is the purpose of this? He said, like he has passed away. His soul is still present here, trying to get again into this body. And it won't go away unless this body is burnt. But this is a poor person. So we are throwing coins, by that he can be burnt. So he saw the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita practice in actual life. So sometimes culture helps us to understand what is knowledge. But right now we don't have any culture, right? There is no ultimate aim in the present way of living. But Vedic lifestyle gives you the meaning of life. It tells you what is life. Otherwise, materialistic life is all about engrossing, like getting engrossed in dead objects. Mobile phone, this, everything about that. Mobile phone gets cracked. Oh, your heart gets cracked. It's a dead object, but still you feel life of it, right? So that's the whole scenario. So there are two types of truth, absolute and relative. And everything depends on the absolute truth. But everyone is engaged about relative truth only, which is body and the enjoyment for the body. Nobody is inquiring about the absolute truth. And Gita and the Vedic lifestyle gives you about knowledge about that truth. Tells you what you need to do, who you are, what's the ultimate aim, who is the creator and everything. But people are interested in other things. They're interested in the creation. Srila Prabhupada, in the early days, he was having many disciples, like those were hippies, some were very poetic, and he was in one program there, and this poet devotee, he saw the sunrise, and he was so enchanted, started writing poetry, and he was sharing with Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada heard everything, and then he said, okay, creation is okay, but we are not interested in the creation. We are interested in the creator. For us, creator is more important than the creation. And that's the reality. Who has created this, who has created us, is more important than our own existence. Because we can see ourselves only when we see in relation to Krishna. We cannot see. If you see in relation to our parents, what we will see? Oh, I am this person, I am that person. If you see to our wife, oh, I am this person. To our child, oh, I am his father. That's the only thing we can see. But if we see in relation to Krishna, then we see our real self. Just like it's mentioned in act of devotion. What you can see on your own, but with the help of light, you can see yourself. So whatever we are seeing is with the help of light. So with the help of Krishna, in relation to Krishna, you can see your real self. Rest all is false, is illusion. So it's mentioned here, like it's a very large purport, very so-called high philosophy. For me, it was very high philosophy. But thankfully, we have Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book, and from there we can get some points to discuss on this. And it came as a savior for me, especially. So it's mentioned here that persons that are born after creation cannot understand the Creator. Just like if someone is born right now, he can understand his great-grandfather. Today's lifestyle, he cannot compare with his lifestyle of his great-grandfather. So how we can understand? By hearing. Okay, this is your great-grandfather, this was his lifestyle, there was so much, wealth that time, now it's all poverty or whatever it is. You can understand by hearing. So similarly, Prabhupada is saying in Krishna book that whatever is manufactured after creation cannot help you to understand Krishna. It's all faulty. And he names various things. He says Vedas, which is flowery language of the Vedas, cannot help you. This so-called philanthropic work cannot help you. So-called meditation, Hatha Yoga, this yoga cannot help you. So who can help you? The one whom you are looking for, he can help you. So he's telling how you can know him. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. By becoming his devotee, you can know him. And what's the process? Devotional service. Because everything else is temporary. But if you want to know something which is eternal, which is Krishna, you have to follow the process which is eternal, and that is devotional service only. Rest all, meditation, this and that, is all temporary. If you do piety, okay, you get temporary benefits, but it will end with time. Even time also ends here. When there is devastation, everything is over. So whatever process of whoever is born, by these means he cannot understand Krishna. This is the whole thing in this verse. And we want to understand Krishna, you can only understand by becoming his devotees. So Veda is called mother, which can tell you who's your father. So the compiler of Veda is father only, is Krishna only, Vedanta Krit Vedavit Evachama. He is the compiler, and from Veda he is to be known. So whatever knowledge if you have, if it doesn't lead to Krishna, it's all a waste. Shrama evahi kevalam. So how to know that this is knowledge, or like this is person is a knowledgeable person? So we were reading a few days back Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna was inquiring the symptoms of a liberated person. Srila Prabhupada very nicely comments in the purport that unless one knows the means to be liberated, there is no point of discussing the symptoms. Because the means that one takes is the main symptom. So how to understand this? Just like Prabhupada says that devotional service in Krishna consciousness is a sign of liberation. So we have heard that impersonalists, they have their own process, which is very troublesome, and they think that they are liberated, vimukta manina, but they fall down. Why? Anadrata. They do not respect the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, not take shelter of devotional service. They fall down. So The process that they take, the means that they take is itself faulty. So what we are talking about symptoms. But those who is taking devotional service, he's really liberated. That is the real symptom of to be liberated, following the process. Similarly, who is knowledgeable? So Prabhupada says knowledge means to follow bona fide authority. That means knowledge. Rest all is nonsense. The speculation means I don't follow authority. Impersonalists also don't like authority. So there is a past time where Srila Prabhupada was walking in the fields in Mayapur, in the farm, and there was a canal in between. And Prabhupada wanted to go from this field to that field. So Bhavananda Prabhu, that time Swami, he crossed and he handed over his hand to for support. So Srila Prabhupada took the hand, he crossed the canal, and then he just pushed Bhavananda Prabhu back. Bhavananda Prabhu was shocked, what happened? Did I did something wrong? Prabhupada took his chadar and he passed away. He went away. And Bhavananda Prabhu was still thinking, what did I do? My hand was sweaty or something, what happened? Why Prabhupada is upset? And he inquired from Srila Prabhupada, what happened? He said, nothing. And he started laughing. And he said, this is the process of Mayavadis. They take help of Guru and then, go away. I am Guru. I am Krishna. So this is what Mayavadis do. They try to become one. They try to become their own authority. They don't like to be under someone's authority. And this fault we also have. We don't want any authority above us. We want to be our own authority. This is impersonalism in us also. Because when there is personalism, there is instruction to be followed, there is mood to be followed, so many things, but I don't want to give that. And that's why we are stone-hearted. Our heart doesn't melt. But if you take up the process, which is Krishna consciousness, it's all about personalism, personal dealings, personal understanding, personal mood. And that thing nourishes us, gives us bliss. Rest all is like dry. In Buddhism, I heard that before you join as a monk, there is a trial period. So in a trial period, you have to understand that everything is void. So what they do, they take you very high up in the mountain, which is very difficult to go. You need some special support to go above and come down. And then there is cave. And they put you inside. There is arrangement of some flowing water. And there is some green grass. And they close the cave, the entrance. And you have to spend some particular time, months or years. So if you pass this test, then you are eligible to become a monk in the monastery. So what happens? Many people become crazy. So they're already inside, no problem. Some people die, so it's samadhi for them. Very rare case is that somebody is sober and he comes out. But this is a so horrible or so, troublesome process they take up. Why? Because they don't want any authority. And Krishna is the supreme authority. They didn't want Krishna. That's why we also complain. I don't pray to Krishna nowadays. Why? Because Krishna gave which I don't want. And that's why I'm not praying to Krishna. He gives what he thinks what is needful for me. So that's the thing. We need to understand the authority system. And only then we can really practice devotional service. Otherwise, it's very difficult. On your own, all the best. On your own, understand Krishna, all the best. Krishna is given the process. Take shelter. We have to take shelter of Guru, right? We have to serve him. And then, prashna sevaya. Padakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Then he will give you the tattva. You have to serve him. This is a process. If you don't follow the process, you will be failure. So there is no scope of speculation. Once His Holiness Sotra Maharaj, in the early days, he was very fascinated with the aeroplanes and vimanas mentioned in the Mahabharata. There was a book which was mentioning this in detail. And he went to Srila Prabhupada, this Vedic technology is so great. There are so many aeroplanes which can run on mind, no fuel needed, and this and that. And Prabhupada said, Vedic technology means Guru Sishya Parampara. That's it. This is Vedic technology. Nothing else. No speculation, scope of speculation. That's the essence. That we don't speculate. And it's very dangerous to speculate. If we don't have our own experience and we speculate in that, It's so like dangerous. It's so wrong. But Mayavadis, they follow this process, and devotees, they reject this process. They listen. And because they listen sincerely, they follow. And because they follow sincerely, then they can lead others. Those who listen, they can follow, and those who follow, they can lead others. But Mayavadis, no, they want to become master. And devotees, they want to become servant. So, what is the mood of a servant? There is no better example in our current scenario than Srila Prabhupada. In one offering, one senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he says that Srila Prabhupada did not become as famous as he deserved to be. Like, he's famous. We all know Jai Prabhupada. We all sing in the morning. So how is not famous? Then the devotee explained that in other movement, people know the Guru. They don't know his philosophy or ideology. Just know the Guru. Guru is very famous. In our movement, everybody knows Hare Krishna mantra. They know beautiful darshan of the deities. They know Mahaprasadam. They know everything, but they know very less about Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada, he always kept Krishna in the front. Krishna in the foreground, himself in the background. This is what he always did. Always he used to give credit to Krishna. That's it, nothing else. And he used to say that just as the moon has no light of its own, but rather borrows its effulgence from the sun, in the same way, if you see any good quality in me, understand that it's because of the mercy of my spiritual master. He always used to give credit to his spiritual master, never for himself. And that's why very few people know about Srila Prabhupada. But those who know, they understand how Srila Prabhupada was serving sincerely the mission of his Guru and Sri Krishna. And if we understand that same mood, instead of taking all the glories for oneself and not depending on the mercy which has made you so glorious, we are just cutting the branch on which we are standing. With our own hand, we are cutting the branch on which we are standing. We have to understand, we have to appreciate how much mercy we have got and we are still getting by taking shelter of this process. And by that only we are still surviving. We are flourishing. Without that, there is nothing good in us. So what to do now? We have to just follow blindly. We are so-called educated. We are trained to use our logic and intelligence. Should we give that up? No, we should not give that up. Lord Brahma, whose whole body is made of intelligence, he prayed 60,000 years on what? On the dust of the lotus feet of the gopis to understand the residents of Vrindavan. So the one who is made of whole intelligence, he needed to pray to the gopis to understand the mood of Vrajvasis. So what about to understand Krishna? It's not so easy, just based on logic and intelligence. So no, we are not saying to give up logic. We are saying your logic and intelligence should end in the conclusion which is based on scripture. Just like, did we fall? We were always there. Why did we fall? You fall or how did you fall, it doesn't matter. Main thing, you are always the servant of Krishna. That's more important than the other things. Oh, why did we fall? Or we will always go there. This is not important. Important thing, your relationship with Krishna doesn't change. You're always servant. Even if you know or if you don't know, you're still, the main thing you know is that you're a servant of Krishna. So that's the thing. So we should always accept that logic has its limitation because it's based on senses. And it's imperfect senses. And then we should understand what is truth from the scriptures. Now we have to use our logic for understanding how this is true. Prabhupada says, okay, these people, they never went to moon. Because Shastra says that. Sun is more closer than the moon. Shastra says that. Now we have to use our intelligence how this is possible. Not say, oh, no, we should not. It's just like this only. No, we have to use our logic. And that's the whole purpose of having logic and intelligence. An argument that we conclude with the Shastric injunction, not our own speculation. And the one who has such faith on Shastra, he is one who is delivered. The one who has faith on Guru and Krishna, all the purports of the Vedas are revealed unto his heart. So we have this nice story of Narad Muni. he was going around and he saw in one village a Brahmana doing all his ritualistic activities, getting early in the morning, doing puja, part and everything. And then he saw a cobbler who was doing his so-called job task and he was chanting the mantra. And so he went back to Krishna and he said, I saw two people and I think this Brahmana is pakka candidate for going back to Godhead. He's so much into his activities, he never thinks anything else. So, what do you think, Krishna? And Krishna says, oh, the Brahmana will take many lifetimes. The cobbler will come this lifetime only. How come? This guy, his activities are so different. So, how you are saying like this? Then he said, Krishna said to him, okay, you go there and they will ask you that what I was doing. You say to them that I was passing the elephant from the eye of the needle. Just say to this. Just say this. So he went and he met the Brahmana during his ritualistic activities. And Brahmana said, wait. Let me do this so-called my thing. And then I will see you. Then he offered his obeisances. And then he said, oh, Narad Muni, you have given your darshan. Tell me something about the Lord, what he was doing when you met him. And he said, oh, nothing. Lord was passing elephant from the eye of the needle. When he heard, he said, what a joke. Like, you didn't met anyone else before me. You're joking like this. How it's possible? He didn't have faith on this because the sadhu is saying, Guru is sadhu shastra, right? Sadhu is saying, and he doesn't have faith. And he doesn't have faith that Krishna can do that. Then he understood that, oh, seriously, it might take him more time. But how can cobbler can go in this lifetime? Then he went to the cobbler, was sitting under the banyan tree. And then he met, cobbler left his task, he offered his obeisances, and he inquired, what was my Lord doing? He said, nothing, Lord was passing an elephant from the eye of the needle. Cobbler said, started crying, oh, my Lord is so great, he can do such miraculous activities. And he started crying, and Brahman said, but how can you believe this? How can you not believe this? Do you see this is a big banyan tree? How this is big? It's coming from a small seed. If Krishna can keep such a huge banyan tree in a small seed, what's the big task of passing an elephant from the eye of the needle? It's possible. So this is what we have to use our logic and intelligence to end in the conclusion of the Shastra. And it's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita also that if you want to use your logic to understand how the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is acting. We know by the pastime of Jagai and Madai how much sinful they were. Like there was a separate department to keep record of their sinful activities. Separate department, right? It's a very big thing. They were doing so many sinful activities. But when they took shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when they asked for forgiveness from Nityananda Prabhu, all those records, they vanished. Yamraj came himself, what has happened? That everything has vanished. And then he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving mercy to Jagai and Madai. And by seeing that, he fainted. He fainted. So we can see ourselves also that we were crows before, still we are crowing sometimes in between, desiring to become swan. But by mercy, it's possible. Mahaprabhu is giving so much mercy that he is helping us each and every time, just like he was helping Haridas Thakur when he was getting beaten in different marketplaces. He said to Haridas, when you were getting beaten, did you feel any pain? He said, no. Why? Because I was taking the beating. Whole beating was on me, not on you. I was covering you. Similarly, Mahaprabhu is protecting us from all the onslaughts of Maya if we take shelter of his instruction, which is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna is always helping us. We need to understand it and appreciate it. When we do that, then we see the miracles of Krishna, that how Krishna is Yoga Shemam Vahame Aham. He is personally helping. Sometimes we doubt that how Krishna is helping personally, but he is helping personally. So one time Akbar, he heard this verse and he said, God don't have any other task that he will personally help his devotee? Then Birbal, he played a game with him to make him understand. So what he did, he made a replica, candle, replica of his grandson, to whom he was very much attached. And when the time when this Akbar, this king, was walking in his balcony, Birbal took that statue of his grandson, and in front of him, he threw him in the flowing river. And when he saw that, Akbar, when he saw that, he left everything, he jumped from the balcony, and he went himself, jumped in the river to rescue his grandson. And he saw, it's a statue, it's fake. He shouted, "What is this nonsense?" He said, "This is reality. For your own dear grandson, you jumped yourself. You had so much soldiers, so many people to help you, but you did yourself. Why? Because you have love for your son." Similarly, Krishna loves his devotees. That's why he helped himself. And we understand from the story of Arjuna Acharya also, was writing the purport on this verse. He said, "Vaha mein hum," I think it's difficult. Then he cancelled that and he said, "Oh, he sent someone." He wrote this commentary and then he left for Madhukari, and then somebody knocked at his door. Mataji was preparing, waiting for the goods to arrive for making today's meal. But when she saw that there are two beautiful boys. One was very fair, one was dark color. They were carrying huge loads of groceries. They shouted, "Hey, side door, please give us side. It's so heavy. And they put everything and they said, "Now we are running by." Like, you did so much hard work. Why you are running now? "Oh, no, your husband will beat us if he see us here." "Why will he beat us?" Like, your husband is merciless. He doesn't have any mercy. We told him we are small boys, small kids, don't put so much load on us. He didn't have any mercy. And he kept all the loads on us. Somehow that we delivered here. Now if he see us again, he will give us some more task. And the dark one said, the dark boy, "No, this is not enough." What he did, when I said, "Oh, we will not carry," he started beating us. See the sign. He has beaten us so harshly. And when the wife heard this, she became so angry that my husband, who is a Brahmana, how can be so violent? And the boys, they ran away. The husband came and he saw something very shocking. What? The wife was eating without him. So this is normal nowadays, but that time it was shock. And he understood something is wrong. This is a sign that something is wrong here. And he inquired, "What happened like for such an action?" And she said, "How can we be so merciless, making small kids work so hard and even beating them?" Like, "What I did? I did nothing. Like, you made them bring so much grocery, such huge, it's like for a whole month. Grocery? I didn't send anyone. Like this, they delivered. Who delivered?" Then he understood. He went back to his room and he saw that Krishna again cancelled that and said, "Vaha mein hum. I personally provide." So we can see that if we have that faith, otherwise very difficult to see. So faith is very much important. Without faith, we cannot understand, we cannot see. Speculation doesn't help us at all. So that's why the whole process of bhakti is based on faith, Shraddha. And we have the Shraddha that Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karya Siddha Hoy, then our life is successful. Till the time we don't have this faith, we have to work on that. And that's the whole aim of Krishna consciousness, to develop strong faith and conviction that Krishna is our supreme shelter. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, any questions? Any comments?
You're mentioning about, making money, getting married, and house, and children, and responsibilities. You see, Krishna, he married 16,000, made a palace for everybody, and had like 10 sons, and arranging marriages, and for the sons and daughters. And it seems like the family affair, you can't avoid it. It seems it's like part of the example of Varnashram Dharma. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking to Ramananda Roy, asking, what is the goal of life? Ramananda Roy said that Varnashrama Charvita, following the rules and regulations of the Vedas, as you mentioned, the rituals and whatnot. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that idea because it wasn't, connected to, love for Krishna. So how do we have family and affection and attention at the same time renouncement and not getting sidetracked from the spiritual path?
So Krishna having family and marrying is not for his own sense enjoyment. It's just to give pleasure to his devotees. Our having family is for our own sense enjoyment. So there is a difference. So family is not a problem, wife is not a problem. Having this enjoying tendency is the problem. So the whole aim of Varnashram is to develop the consciousness of duty rather than having this enjoyment tendency. By following the duty, by following the injunctions, your heart gets purified and then you get detachment. So by that, we can understand that the whole aim is to develop love for Krishna, not develop love for money, wife, children, bank balance. That's the whole aim. So there are many rituals also like. That's why the boy is trained before marriage. Because before he entered the battlefield of marriage life, he's trained as a brahmachari. Because it's a war. It's a war with your own mind, with the mind of your dependents. It's a war. It's not easy. You have to really have some control over your mind. So that's why he's trained as a brahmachari, where he learns the purpose of life, and then he enters. If he want to enter, he still has an option. So there is a ritual which we were hearing that when the boy is supposed to get married, he takes the danda, his kamandul, and he runs away from the home. And all his relatives, they run behind him and says, "Where are you going? You have a beautiful wife coming tomorrow. You are supposed to get married." And he said, No, I won't marry. Say, please marry, come back again. And said, okay, on one condition, I will marry. After 25 years, when I enter the age of 50, I will take this danda, this kamandulu, and he will run away. Nobody should stop me. On this condition, I will come back. So he comes back, he marries, he does his duty, and then he runs away. So he said, you are entering a deep, dark well to enter with the purpose of coming out. Not of the purpose, just go down. So that's the thing. You go with the purpose of doing the duty and the whole aim to be conscious of the whole aim of life, which is developing Krishna Prem, and then get out. Prabhupada says, get out. So this is what Mahaprabhu is trying to say. Not like getting into the Varnashram system. The main aim is developing love for Krishna.
Keep Krishna in the center.
Krishna in the center. Yeah.
Thank you for a beautiful class. You spoke very nicely about how everything is possible for Krishna, how he takes care of his devotees and of everyone, how we should have faith in him. So I wanted to ask you, maybe you can speak more also about how this, especially we can experience when we live on the land, for example, because I understand that as when we live in the cities, we get an impression that we have to make all the arrangements, but on the land, for example, people depend on the rain from the sky, right? Like a good example. And now we so much lost faith in Krishna, we think he cannot even provide sufficient rain for us. So maybe you can speak more about that.
Yeah. Today's generation, if you tell them from where the milk comes, they'll say, oh, from the bottle. They don't know the source where it comes from. So this is what's lacking today's time and circumstance, that we don't know what is the source. So when you live on the land, or when you serve on the land, we can say, living means what? Serving the land. Because land is also a living being. We sometimes forget that land is also a living being. Right? We were hearing that these animals, they migrate. Why they migrate? Because sometimes the place where they're staying right now doesn't provide their needs. So they migrate kilometers of kilometers. We see birds flying from like Russia or some places, and they come here in India. Why? Because which is suitable for their existence. We see in South Africa, the savanna, the elephants, usually when there is abundance in their habitat, they just travel 1 or 2 kilometers. But during their dry season, they travel 50 kilometers a day. It's crazy like anything. So, Krishna is the maintainer and they depend on whatever Krishna provides. We are trying to become controller. Oh, Krishna is not providing, I will take from another place and dump it here. Oh, I cannot have land, I'll put a shade, tie the cow and feed her very nice. Grass is not enough, I'll feed grain also, which is not for him because they don't have two teeth, they have only like bottom about it, right? No bottom teeth, right? Bottom teeth know about it, just to chew, to take the juice. But we think their teeth is a grinding process. So we have our own understanding and we try to implement on things. Why? And why only cows? Why? Because she's giving something which is so-called we think is beneficial. But it's not beneficial if you don't benefit the cow. Said that the health of the mother affects the health of the child also. So if your mother is not healthy, is not taken care of, so how can we expect the output from such a mother, such a cow to give us health? And that's the reality. We are not taking care of land, we are not taking care of cow because we are impersonal. Prabhupada says that don't think that this whole creation is only meant for human beings. It's for each and every living being. And that's why Mother Earth, she went to Brahma. She cried to Brahma, these people are exploiting me and not serving. It's like nowadays we take so much water. We are taking so much water, we don't have water on our like every property. And where we waste the water? In passing a stool and urine. We purchase water, then we go in the bathroom and we flush. And in one flush we spend 15 liters of water. And how many times we flush in winter season? Minimum 10 times. So 150 liter per person. What is the population of Vrindavan? 70,000. During when these visitors come, 1 lakh. Now you multiply 1 lakh into 150 liter. This much water we are wasting every day for what? For something which is like the worst thing. This is our advancement of civilization. Why? Because we don't know how to live on land or how to serve the land. It's like when I was in village, I was born in village. So we used to go, walk. The constipation problem solved because you are walking. Then you find a place, you do your stuff, then you go, take bath and come back. Everything by walking. Now people, they just don't walk. Next room they have a bathroom which smells and they have constipation. And for that they take medicine, so many things. Just walk, Baba. Things are solved, but no. So in the pursuit of making things comfortable, we have forgotten the real purpose of life, which is to remember Krishna. We only remember the comforts. Cold, oh, heater. No, Krishna. We don't remember Krishna, we remember heater. When it's hot, oh, cooler, easy. We don't remember Krishna. Why? Because we are attached to these comforts. Comfort. We are attached. And this is the present lifestyle. So serving on land helps us to develop proper consciousness. And that's why we have farm, we have Ajay land, where we see how the animals, bulls, they roam around freely. They take shelter of the land which is providing them, not the artificial shelter that we are creating, which is in short, in another way, troubling them. And we see how Krishna is maintaining each and everyone. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kama. Krishna alone is maintaining everyone. We are not the maintainer. Krishna is the maintainer. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, time is over. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama